All right. Hello, hello. I think it's throwing me off that there's no audio. Okay, there is audio. There's just apparently no background music. But hi, we're live. Happy Sunday. I know it's usually a Danganronpa night, but we're doing Chaos Child instead. Mana is taking some time to do some recording for their next performance, so you're stuck with just me tonight. So we've got a lot of shit that's happening, and we're still at the beginning of this game. So that is so much is happening. I just, the more I think about it, the more intrigued I get. And I will say I was a little bit excited to play this tonight just because I have so many ideas in my brain. Like, what is happening? I want to know. So let's recap. Thank you, chat, for recapping. We waxed on about Schrodinger's cat and the crash of 15 because we are so much smarter than everyone else, apparently, especially otaku who don't appreciate the symbolism of blood tune. Serika brought us crime scene photos and played with our childhood frog fidget. We asked her how to ask a girl out and found a connection between murders and the sumo sticker incident. As the newspaper club, we and Ito have to report on the upcoming festival. Empress Nono Kurusu stumbled in with as much cliche perfection as possible and dragged us out of class, but Kawahara stopped us. Nono nagged us in private about playing hooky to snap crime scene photos, and Kazuki's bumping interrupted her from killing Ito after a panty shot. We're looking into several mysterious suicides seen by audiences on Nikonia, which happened on dates corresponding to the murders 6 years ago, which, as a reminder, happened like right before the earthquake that like took down half of Shibuya. So Siddika called about another murder at a love hotel where we heard music from an open window. We tried to sneak past a cop and said, Siddika asked about our distance from Nono. We found a cop and a woman's body in the room, and the guy behind the curtain knocked rhythmically before hanging, and he did lose his head. I will confirm. I remember reading that. Katsuki made coffee when Nono interrupted her game. Nono is our earthquake orphan buddy, apparently. Yeah, so we come from the same orphanage dormitory. Apparently, we moved out 6 months ago because of some incident that we don't know yet. But oh yeah, and Serika, us and Serika are like both horrifically traumatized by what we just saw. Because again, we saw a man's head come off. So November 7th, 2009. This way! Please, come this way! I'm telling you, we can get around from the back. How many times do I have to... Save us! Someone! Why won't the phones work? I wanted water. Yeah, remember that time we saw decapitation? That was fucked up. I could still feel the sensation of the dead woman I'd touched when I'd fallen on my hands, and I wanted to wash it off. I wanted to wash my face, too. The wind from the flames had blown something small into my eye, and it itched badly. I was thirsty, too. Sirika was on my back and showed no signs of waking up. Damn it. My legs were at their limit, so I forced my way through the crowd and sat down on a tire that had rolled nearby. It smelled like burning rubber. I didn't have the energy to apologize to the people I ran into, and they didn't have the energy left to complain. I slowly brought Sirika to rest on my knees and looked around. I saw an orange light. The light of the fires reflected off many things. It was pretty, I thought, before I realized how inappropriate that was. Not quite. I did have to sit there and go, wait a second, where are we? But 2009, this must be it during the quake. For some reason, I started to count the bodies on the ground, not knowing if they were alive or dead. But in less than 5 seconds, I'd gotten way over 10 and realized how futile it was. I stopped. Shibuya Station was utterly destroyed. The 10-7, only a few minutes away by foot, was ruined as well. 5 whole hours after the earthquake, the chaos had only increased. There were fewer people out walking, but I wasn't sure if that was because they'd reached safety or simply collapsed from exhaustion. I saw someone carrying his own severed arm in a convenience store bag. I saw people ignore a barefoot woman as she cradled a baby whose head was smashed in. Some had outright given up on sanity and were flinging things into the fire. A group of middle-aged salarymen were dropping a young girl into the darkness. A young man went to join them. We're starting off on a really cheery note here. Sorry, y'all. This is hell. There was no other way to describe it. This was hell. Serika moaned a little in my lap. I slapped her cheeks to wake her up. Onoe? Onoe! Her face distorted in agony. It was okay. She was breathing. She was okay. We're heading to Yoyogi, okay? You know, that big general hospital? You remember, right? We snuck in there once when we were little. Instead of answering, she just moved her eyebrows a little. I swore and lifted her up on my back again. She didn't seem to be that badly hurt, but this kept happening. Yeah, there we go. This is the timeline where Minorikawa did remember to tell the theater troupe about their dry ice machine, and Aya Kamiki's music set off Alfred's bomb as a result. Yeah, you know, we did the right thing once, and it did not pay off for us there. We remembered one thing, one whole thing, but... I read on Twitter that the general hospital in front of Yoyogi Station was accepting patients injured in the earthquake. I didn't know that it was true, but I had no choice but to go. It had to be better than the hell that was Shibuya. Don't die. I yelled, unsure if Serika could even hear me, and started walking. I just needed to get to the hospital. Serika? Honey? The fuck was that? Okay. I don't know what that flash was, but I didn't like that. I leapt up. I quickly glanced to the left and right as I tried to calm my racing heart. I saw that I was in my own bed. I felt exhausted. I also felt really thirsty. Maybe it was because I'd had the dream again. I searched around until I found the bottle of water by my bedside, took a gulp, and then grabbed the phone off my bed to check the time. 12:17 a.m. It's a new day, huh? It was around noon when the police had let me go from Shibuya Station with a warning. Yeah, I mean, we did save her from an earthquake, it seems. It seems like she went through some more fucked up shit. So I don't know if, like, that's gonna come up later, but her having some romantic interest in us after we, you know, brought her to the hospital during an earthquake and all of that, like, we seem to have a history. I'd gone home and gone straight to bed, so I would have been out for more than 12 hours. This was no good. Maybe I'd slept too long, or maybe I hadn't slept enough because my head felt like it was filled with lead. No, maybe not. I put my hands up to the thin light that was coming through the window and checked their color. They were the same as always. There was no blood on them. Yeah, we're just a little traumatized from what we saw. And we were already traumatized before, so... I felt a little like throwing up. I hoped another drink of water would help, but it didn't. Damn it. I thought for a moment and then decided to turn on the room lights. I turned on the laptop. I ran a search for urge to vomit lesson foods drinks. The internet gave me page after page of results. I checked a bunch of pages just like you're supposed to when you're looking something up. Ginger, huh? I guess I've got that kakonto that Gen gave me. I looked under the sink until I found the kakonto powder, then poured it into a cup and added some hot water from the electric kettle. It had a strange smell, unlike anything I was used to. I took a sip. I could tell that my hands were shaking a little as I held the cup. God damn it all. It wasn't the first time I'd seen a body. I checked the phone again and saw that there were several messages from Serika and Kurose. I went to answer, but stopped. They were probably still up, but I didn't feel like talking to anyone. Yeah, I did what the smart people said to do. Pretend to read everything. while actually only reading maybe the first like 3 sentences of the first 3 pages that come up, or the first 3 results that come up. But that's okay. That's what the smart people do. It felt like the air I'd breathed in at the Love Hotel yesterday was still deep inside me, along with the cheerful melody of the music box and the red that covered my vision. I felt something strange on my cheek and put a hand up to feel it. It was a bandage. I'd gone to some kind of clinic at the police station where they'd put it on. They told me I must have hit my face hard on the floor when I'd passed out. I was unlucky enough to scrape my cheek against a piece of the shattered glass. Thankfully, it wasn't a big wound. Barely hurt at all. But it itched like hell. And each time it itched, the shock I felt came rushing back and quickened my pulse. The danger was long gone, but I still couldn't forget the terror. Had I almost been caught up in something horrible? I mean, I don't think we can say we got caught up in something horrible when we literally tried to get into something horrible. Like, we skirted around cops and opened a locked door. So, we did not just, get involved. No. I was fine. I was fine, right? I wasn't like everyone else. I wasn't an amateur. I'd gone through that hell I'd just dreamed about and survived. Okay. Maybe having that nightmare again was good for me. I managed to force down the urge to vomit and then clicked away at the computer. I opened my computer's TV program, changed the channel to a news program, and watched it on my monitor. A few months ago, I'd bought a USB TV tuner off of a homeless guy who had no idea what it was worth. All it cost me was dinner at a local restaurant. Yeah, I think that like that is kind of what's happening, where he's playing up the appearance of intelligence because he feels insecure about how smart he thinks he should be. And also, like, especially I think coming up with the emotional intelligence that he doesn't have, like, it's almost like he's overcompensating in one because he doesn't have any of the other. So I think we're gonna get some depth here that I'm interested to see how it goes for his character. Just like I thought, there was an article about the events 2 days ago. All they said was that a man's body was found in a Dolganzaka Love Hotel. They didn't say whether it was suicide, murder, or just an accident. I don't think it was an accident, just based off of how he was strung up, but there was nothing about the girl who'd been found at the scene, or about me in Serika. I see. I figured this was what I'd get. I'd never experienced for myself the gap between what happened at a crime scene and what was reported on TV, but it didn't really surprise me. These days, the internet was a lot faster at reporting things than TV. To people who followed the news online, TV wasn't a place to learn new things. It was where you went to see if something you'd heard about was so important that it was getting TV coverage. What about the people online? I closed the TV program and opened a browser. Nikonia News had something on it too. I clicked on the uploaded video. Another incident has occurred in Shibuya. This makes for 3 strange incidents so far. Just as always, it was Watabe, the attention-seeking internet reporter. He was famous for charging into crime scenes to get scoops. Lately, he seemed to be getting a little too cocky. He explained what had gone on at the Love Hotel as the video showed pictures that he had probably taken himself. Either way, I think the police are hiding something. The only announcement has been that a body was found, but if that's all, then why would... And then, like always, he started to mix in his own subjective opinions with the news. He was right, the police were hiding something, but there was little point in listening to the rest of this. Vague information would just get in the way. This is all you can expect on the masses on the internet, I guess. I mostly ignored Watabe's voice as I looked at the video on the screen. He must have gotten it by charging into the hotel room. What the hell was all that? I thought back to what had happened. A man was strangled to death in his room. There was an unconscious girl and a police officer there as well. The girl was the most obvious suspect. Even if she chose a strange way to do it, she still must have killed him. Right? No, if she had definitely killed him, then they would have announced that. She was arrested, just like I was. Over 30 hours had passed. Even if they'd found out she was innocent, they should have announced that. The police believe that the girl with him may know something and are proceeding with their investigation. Like that. Did the police think that she didn't do it? Then what was she doing in that room? I mean, what were we doing in that room? So, and even if the police had told me during the interrogation that I'd imagined it, I knew what I'd heard. Someone else had visited that room and knocked on the door. The sound was eerie and always had the same rhythm. I felt a cold chill and idly turned towards the door. What are these? What am I supposed to do here? My room was the same as always. There was no sign of anyone approaching it. I'm going to start hitting buttons. Give me a second. Oh, I can do shit. I don't know what these do, but I can move those. I don't know. Do we want to do positive or negative? I don't know what that's gonna do. I don't know how that's gonna affect anything. But let's try it because it keeps coming up and I still don't entirely know what they're doing. All right, let's flip a coin. Give me a second to find myself an online coin. Flip a coin. All right, positive is heads. It is tails. Okay, we're going negative. Let's see if this does anything. Yeah, Haruaki was a scumbag, but we could relate to the manslaughter. Will Takeru have an inferiority complex that we can relate to? Like, we gotta have something. So, I listened carefully to see if I could hear anything outside. Nothing. Come on, you're worrying too much. Oh, trigger. Okay. We got a trophy for my first solution trigger. Huh? I couldn't believe what I was seeing. The doorknob spun on its own. Oh shit, what did we do? The door opened. I couldn't believe it. I'd forgotten to lock the door. Someone was here. Who? Was it Serika? Or Gen? Or someone who had something to do with what happened yesterday? Was it okay for me to just stand here? Who's there? A small shadow slipped through the gap in the open door and came inside. Who was this girl? Isn't this the girl that we had? Like, that we saw that was passed out? Our eyes met, and then I realized that I should have looked away. Yeah. Who are you? Her eyes were blank and out of focus. It was like she was looking at me, but she wasn't. Her skin was so pale she looked sick. She was mumbling something. She had something behind her back. It was a knife, over 20 centimeters long. Shit. Oh my god, are we going to get him killed? I'm so sorry. Shit. She was insane. And then I remembered who she was. Yeah, Girl Scout cookies? She was the girl at the crime scene. What was she doing here? The witnesses have to die. Huh? Have to die. What? Die! She leapt on me without warning. I felt a terrible pain in my solar plexus. I looked down and saw that the knife was embedded deep within my chest. She giggled as she pulled the knife out. Oh shit, what the fuck did we do? The coin was against us. Sorry, Takeru. Die! And again. And again. The knife went in. Yeah, bad end. How could somebody die like this? It was insane, I thought. That's stupid. That wasn't gonna happen. Yeah, no way, none. I kept telling myself that as I went over and locked the door. It was just like how after you saw a horror movie, you ended up afraid to go to the bathroom at night. Okay, so if I'm understanding what we just saw, we can take a scene and think it's going to be either positive or negative. And maybe that'll influence something? I don't know. But that was fucking wild, so... One theory said that a scary experience like that throws the brain into overdrive and causes it to emit too much dopamine, which triggers strong delusions. Basically, I was overthinking it. Yeah, you were right about the glass half empty thing. Like, that was wild. Give me a second. Oh, the stream is having some issues. Just want to make sure that it's not my latency. Bitrate says it's staying constant. Apologies if it stuttered there for a second. But yeah, apparently you were right about the glass half empty thing. Nothing crazy like that was actually going to happen. It was physically impossible. So I was fine. Just fine. Yeah, we definitely need to see what the positive side is. I took a deep breath and managed to calm myself down. I don't know what this is going to affect later. I'm sure it's going to affect something, but we could have been reacting to these things from the beginning. That's right. Crap. It was a new day. What about the pundits on the internet? I quickly opened another site. Shibuya News. This was the private news site I trusted the most. It was always updated at midnight every day. The quality of the news and the reliability of its updates made it far more useful than TV or the mass market sites. Online news was faster than TV, but of course some sites were better than others. There was no end to the number of wrong-siders who would treat the net as a single entity that was the opposite of TV. The TV says one thing, but the internet says something different, they'd say. Yeah, you and 83% of players got shanked repeatedly in Chapter 1. Reminds me of in Catherine, if you've ever played it, where it tells you, like, who made the same choices as you. Like, maybe we'll find out something like that. Yeah, Shibuya Nudes. If you asked me, they were utter morons. These days, even a lot of the larger sites online aimed for the same mass market the TV news did. It was critical that you find out for yourself which sites could really be trusted. Just like the name implied, Shibuya News dealt with the goings-on around Shibuya. It was similar enough that to our newspaper club that everyone in the club knew about the site and used it regularly. Its owner, Kei, was, how to say this? Very skilled at getting and sharing information and seeing its effects. She carefully calculated when to send and when to receive information. Yeah, Telltale Games, I think, definitely does the same thing as well. A lot of child and grandchild sites use Shibuya News as their parent site. Most of them were privately run news sites as well. A parent site is a site which is a primary source for information. Secondary sites, called child sites, share this information with other users, and there are also tertiary sites, called grandchild sites, which share the information from the child sites. This lingo comes from news sites, and it's also common when running multiple sites to refer to the primary one as the parent site and the sites that were spun off of it as the child sites. As a result, a huge number of people saw the information that Kei spread. To put it more unkindly, Kei was manipulating them. Anytime Kei wrote about a popular shop among high school students in Shibuya or a free smartphone app, I would hear people at school talking about it within a few days. Take, for example, the Twitter user that most of Hekiho Academy followed, HekihoBot. It described itself as a bot by Hekiho students for Hekiho students, but from the number of times that it would show up on Shibuya News, my guess was that it was actually run by Kei. Yeah, Kei propaganda. Kei was one of the few people I recognized as a right-sider. When something important was going on Shibuya, first you check the news, the TV shows to get the basics, then the mass market sites to see what the net was saying. Then you would go to Shibuya News for the latest information. This was the way the newspaper club, and myself specifically, would always look for information. I figured they'd be broadcasting. The quality of the news wasn't the only reason that Shibuya News was popular. One reason was that Kei appeared to be a girl. When someone was thought to be a girl in real life, they got a lot more hits than someone who was thought to be a guy. And the other reason was... And that was A Contract of Blood to Seal Our Sin by Phantasm. Phantasm is a fictional gothic punk band that was popular in Shibuya around 2009. In 2015, it still has some passionate fans. A group of 4, but only the names of the vocalist, FES, and the guitarist Ryo have been made public. This radio broadcast. Whenever there was something big she wanted to report on, she would always do an internet radio broadcast. It offered proof that she was a girl, her voice calm and pleasant to the ear. A lot of people just listened to her broadcasts. The audio from the leaky noise case that I'd played for Kurisu had actually been modified by Kei to be easier to understand.
Okay, normally I don't play Phantasm, but there's a reason I've chosen it today. You're all aware of the death of a man in his 20s in a Shibuya love hotel yesterday, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that Kei has to be someone we already know, or someone we're going to meet. My big guess, and this is completely out of it, is our gamer chick from the newspaper club. I think it might be her. I could be wrong. But considering the fact that she had guessed immediately where our mind was going with the whole date thing, like... And we wouldn't necessarily recognize her voice because she doesn't talk. That's my guess. I'm going to stick to it for now.
Like always, Watabe at Nikonia News was there to tell you all about it, but...
I chuckled a little. His glory hogging was a running joke among Nikonia News viewers.
But there's something he didn't notice. Phantasm released this song 6 years ago, and you all remember what happened then, of course. That's right, the Shibuya earthquake. But before that, there were also the strange events called the New Generation Madness.
Huh? I was startled. That's right, crap. I'd forgotten after all that had happened at the Love Hotel.
No way.
Yeah, that's a possibility that Kei is either a dude or a love interest. I do like the idea of both, I will say.
Some of you have already noticed, right? The Don't Look at Me case on the 7th of September, and then Leaky Noise on the 19th, and now this new death yesterday. Or more precisely, 2 days ago, on the 29th. The dates match up with the incidents 6 years ago. In that second, the Twitter stream that was linked to the broadcast lit up. It was overflowing with comments. The next date is October 10th, the date of the vampire case. My beloved citizens of Shibuya, please take care. That's all for tonight. Thank you for listening in. This has been your host, Kei. It will soon be 12:30 a.m. on October 1st. I pray you spend tomorrow in a way you won't regret.
She signed off in her usual way, and the broadcast ended. She got me. That's right. That hypothesis was why I'd forced my way into the Love Hotel. And something had happened, just like I thought. After 3 such incidents, it was only natural to assume that there might be a connection. The New Generation Madness. Okay. Well, we're gonna get some more information about it, it seems. Was it going to happen again? Huh? That's also a possibility. Yeah, what if Kei is multiple people and one of them is providing the voice while the other one is Ito? I mean, Ito is really into this stuff, so it's a possibility. I suddenly felt a pain in my cheek. I reached up and saw that blood was coming out from the side of the bandage. The cut must have opened. As I took care of it, the red blood on my fingers stood out. Without warning, I felt a horrible sense of dread, like I was sinking into quicksand. Usually I love to have a mystery to solve, but now that the case was definitely real, I hesitated. For the rest of that night, I wasn't able to do any more research about the case. Third death in Shibuya could mean serial killer is on the loose. New generation. The 3 suspicious deaths in Shibuya this month line up with the dates of the New Generation Madness. A 4th death is predicted to occur on 10/10. Source: Shibuya News 10:30 or 9:30 update. New Generation Madness! Holy shit. First! Seriously? Thread archived. Ah, yeah. Hell yes! It's happening! .gif. Oh, somebody call me? Kei is so smart. Oh man, I'm getting goosebumps. Wow, it was real! How did no one notice? Summary of Kei's podcast.
The dates of the New Generation incident 6 years ago match the 3 deaths so far. If the pattern continues, something will happen on 10/10. 9/7/2009, group dive. 9/7/2015, don't look at me. 9/19/2007, pregnant man. 9/19/2015, leaky noise. 9/29/2009, crucified. 9/29/15, love hotel incident. 10/10/2009, vampire. 10/10/2000, I assume that's supposed to be 2015? Who knows? Festival time! No time to eat. No! Let the Carnival of Miracles begin. New Gen, New Gen. If this is true, isn't that scary as shit? I want to know more about the third death. Was it as nasty as leaky noise? Kay, you're so smart. Let's get married. Whose eyes are those eyes?
I got so excited listening to Shibuya News, I fapped to her voice 3 times. Could do it twice more. That was weird to read, let me just say.
I had the same feeling. I think this means another earthquake's coming. I went to see the Esper 6 years ago in front of the station. I was in college then. Now I'm unemployed and stay at home all day. The fun's about to start again, huh?
Shibuya's doomed. I'm Kay's dad.
This means that they'll cancel the Restoration Festival. You guys make me sick. People are dead. What the fuck are you so happy about? Don't look at me.
I call BS. I thought Kay was smarter than this. I'm disappointed.
It's been 6 years and it's time to drag this out again.
It's the return of the New Generation Madness and I can't bear it. Yeah, Kay's dad is the true main villain. Yeah, I mean, like, we have possibilities. Let's see if any of them are right.
October 1st, 2015, Thursday. The same time. Shibuya Police Station. Would you please just tell me your name and address already? Are you a student or do you have a job? You went to that hotel with that man, Kakita, many times, right? How did you know him? Were you dating? If you don't want to talk, feel free to just nod or wave your hand. Just tell me.
The officer sank back into her chair in resignation. Shinjo could sympathize. I see. He'd just come to check on her a moment ago, but they'd probably been doing this since yesterday. Locked in an interrogation room, cut off from the outside world and questioned by multiple officers, most people would lose their cool. They'd start to wonder what effects their words were having and focus on every movement of the officer who was taking down notes. It wasn't hot in the room, but they'd sweat. But this girl didn't respond at all. It probably wasn't because she was used to it. If she'd ever been interrogated before, the fingerprints they'd taken would have told them who she was.
Shinjo. Maybe we should take her to...
To a mental hospital, you mean? It made sense. The natural assumption was that the shock of the incident had incapacitated her. Shinjo nodded, as if considering it. Any missing persons reports? This was the second day since the incident. If she lived in a normal family environment, someone should have submitted a missing persons report by now.
I checked, but no luck.
Shinjo watched the girl as he listened to her talk. But the girl didn't move a muscle. Even mentioning her family didn't get us anywhere, huh? The normal ways weren't going to work then. She'd be sent to the hospital by dawn at this rate. Thanks, I'll take care of her. You can go. I do not trust this man, so I would like for you to stay, ma'am. Like, yes, you're a cop, but also I'm scared. The other officer couldn't hide her happiness as she left the room. Shinjo sat down in the chair she'd been sitting in and took a good look at the girl from the front. She was ignoring him and still looking down at the desk. She didn't even seem to notice or care that the person in front of her had changed. Shinjo remembered his conversation with Momose. After he'd hung up, she'd called back in precisely 3 minutes, just like she'd promised. Then she'd said, "My kid has a message for you," is what she says. Is that all? What does that even mean? Just ask her. If she reacts like you did or doesn't say anything, then I'm sorry, but that psychiatric hold is your only option. But if she reacts some other way, contact me again. The message didn't make much sense, but he didn't see any other way. I'd like to ask you a question. There was no response, of course. He continued, uncertain if she was even hearing him. Did you have it and they didn't realize it, or did you never have it? Which is it? Huh? Huh? Her eyes moved. Instead of looking down at the desk, she was looking at Shinjo. Shinjo was surprised, but did his best to hide it. Well? The girl stared at him as if trying to figure him out. And then a moment later, who are you? Her words were quiet but sharp. It was the same tone of voice that Shinjo used when he was interrogating a subject. I'm a detective here at the station. What's your name? She seemed to be thinking about something as she stared at him. Her mannerisms were just like his own, again. It was the same way a detective faced a criminal, trying to gain every scrap of information from what he could see. And then she slowly opened her mouth. Hinai Arimura. I'm a student at Hekiho Academy. I left the motorhome where I lived alone, and only then did I realize that it was evening. The sunlight must have been pouring into my room, but I hadn't noticed. I didn't really remember when I'd gone to sleep or when I'd woken up. It's okay, right? I looked around and made sure that none of the scenery had changed, then walked up the steps in front of me. Miyashita Park was just a few minutes' walk away from Shibuya Station. It was also known as Homeless Park. This was where I lived after I left the dorm. The first floor was a huge parking structure, and the second story had a futsal field and a climbing wall. It had been mostly abandoned during the recovery efforts after the Shibuya earthquake. After the quake, people who'd lost their family, or who never had any family to begin with, gathered here en masse. Mitake Park, which was right next door, was supposed to be the evacuation point for this area, but Miyashita had always been the mecca for the homeless, so everyone gathered here. When people gathered, so did things. Containers filled with food, blankets, and tents, even the trailer for a motorhome that was left behind when its owner fled Shibuya. Every part of the park was overhauled to create a place for people to live. The parking lot, the futsal field, the climbing wall, etc. And the next thing anyone knew, there was a society there that was big enough that the government couldn't force them out. Then some group of idiots came out to try and turn the place into temporary housing. That was shot down in less than a month. As a result, even though you could find beautifully rebuilt skyscrapers just a street away, Miyashita Park became one of Japan's biggest slums. Can I have this? I spoke to the man who sold newspapers, magazines, and everything else as I picked up a newspaper with today's date, October the 1st, on it. Oh, Toku, I don't see you buying newspapers often. Sure, take it. Can I? I've got plenty, and take a look. He showed me the snacks and alcohol at his feet. He must have sold a lot today. There were a lot of people in the park who had enough money that they could have stayed in a capsule hotel if they wanted to. Exactly, boo to affordable housing. Oh, if you're going to throw it away, do it somewhere else. They're getting annoying about the garbage. I thanked him and went to leave. Hmm? Hey, Taku, off to pay the electric bill? Yeah, that's right. Then pay mine, too. Tell them it's from Maddie on the south side. He handed me a 1,000 yen bill. I nodded, took it, and headed deeper into the park with my paper. Oh, so his name was Maddie? Miyashita Park was divided into north and south halves by a road. If he said he was from the south, that must mean there was a Maddie on the north side who I hadn't met yet. The administrative office on the south side. Just like the name implied, it was where all the administration was done for Miyashita Park. It kept things peaceful between the government and the park occupants, resolved disputes between the homeless, and maintained all the facilities at the park. I knew the woman there by her face, but not her name. I gave her the electric bill, which was due on the 1st of the month, along with Maddie's part. Life in the park might seem carefree and lawless from the outside, but it was actually much stricter than you'd find in some families. All right, thanks. Nobody's going over their territory or trying to move in, right? Everyone who lived on the outer rim of the park, including me since I lived on the far south, had been asked by the management to keep an eye out for that. I think it's okay. When I'd looked earlier, I hadn't seen anything change around my place.
It's rough out there lately, so take care. If you see someone you don't know, tell me right away.
Huh?
You know about what happened in the Love Hotel, right?
Oh, yeah, I understand. I was startled, but quickly nodded. I suddenly felt like they were criticizing me for hiding something. The corridor that connected the north and south ends of the park. This place, looking down on Maisie Street, was the one part that hadn't really changed since before the earthquake. There were cracks here and there, but the government had forbidden people to put things here because it would ruin the view and might not be safe. I leaned up against the rail and spread open the newspaper with the setting sun shining down on me. There was a column on the front page about the Love Hotel incident, but no new information. There was nothing in the article about the girl who was found at the scene, or how this could be related to what happened 6 years ago. Had they not figured that out yet? Or maybe they had and they just weren't announcing it. If it had something to do with the incident 6 years ago, then so did Don't Look at Me and Leaky Noise. Yeah, I mean, like, we are pretty much the homeless and downtrodden as well, so, you know. This guy, like, he seems really irritating, on the, like, outset, but actually, he's got some traits that aren't too bad, so I'm very curious to see how he's going to develop. I'm still in the, like, I want to put him in a jar and dissect him kind of specimen, like, overlooking at this point, but I'm slowly warming up. Did that mean they weren't suicides? If the killer had driven them to suicide, then it was probably the same person behind 3 incidents. But was he working alone or part of a group? Or maybe people who were related somehow to the incident 6 years ago were killing themselves one after another? Maybe I should look at what the 3 cases had in common again. Damn it, what the hell? My hand went up to the new bandage on my cheek. I rubbed it several times to make sure that it was still there. I took out my smartphone. The data I'd recorded at the scene had been deleted by the police. I probably should have just counted myself lucky they didn't take the phone itself. I'd lost my biggest clue to the case. Maybe that's a clue I should just give this up. Maybe this was just out of my league. Maybe it was stupid to get involved. Uh, And then I got a call on my phone. I checked the name and hit the answer button. Yes, hello.
Is it you? They're here at the usual seat.
Thanks. As always, the waitress's appearance and manners were a mystery to me. I bowed to her and went to my seat. Sirika was there already, reading a manga. She was fiddling with her Ghetto Froggy cell phone strap without realizing it, as usual. It really was a strange habit, and a nuisance to the people around her. Cafe Lax, the preferred hangout of the newspaper club, was just a 10-minute walk from Shibuya Station. The owner was a manga fan, and the walls were lined with the stuff. There was free Wi-Fi and the prices were good, and if it wasn't crowded, you could sit there for hours as long as you bought a single drink. The most important part was that since it was in a hard-to-find spot, barely anyone from Hekihol knew about it. So I didn't have to worry about running into anyone I knew. I mean, I can see how this would be disruptive since it makes noise, especially since it makes farting noises, but in general, fidgets are not disruptive. As usual, there was barely anyone there. Just a single couple that appeared to be in college. I ordered my usual Mountain View and sat down. What are you reading?
Oh, Taku, I'm not sure what this is.
Huh?
I just grabbed it off the shelf.
Sirika went and put the manga back on the shelf, then came and sat back down.
Here, this is your uniform. Nan told me to clean it, so I did.
Thanks. I took the bag containing my uniform from Sirika. It was the uniform that had gotten covered with blood at the Love Hotel. Did you go to school today?
Nope, neither did you, right?
I nodded. I hadn't felt like it at all.
Did you contact Non and Ito?
I sent them a text. When I got up this morning, I sent both of them a text saying that I was okay.
They both sent back responses almost immediately, but neither of them said much about what had happened. They probably weren't mentioning it for my sake.
So, how are you doing? You okay?
Yeah, I guess. It wasn't my first time seeing a dead body. Siddika spoke in a normal tone of voice as she drank her favorite, grapefruit juice. She didn't seem like she was lying. That's how she'd been since she was a kid. It wasn't that she didn't have any feelings, she just got over them very quickly. What about you, Taku? Are you okay? Now that she asked, I wasn't sure how to answer the question. The waitress brought me my Mountain View. I nodded and took it.
Was I okay?
No way, seriously? That's terrible!
Seriously, I couldn't believe it. What a dumbass, right?
I spun the ice in my drink as I listened to the couple's irritating conversation. Siddika silently waited for my answer. I knew that face. She'd been my friend since we were kids. There was no point in trying to hide it.
To be honest, I'm not sure.
Not sure about what?
About whether I should keep following the case.
Siddika seemed genuinely shocked. Huh? Really? Excuse me, I'd like another thing of grapefruit juice. Siddika raised her hand and ordered another drink. Normally you'd say that this was your big chance and rush right in, right?
Yeah, Mountain View, only the best for a true gamer.
That might be true, but things were different this time. After what I'd gone through? I mean, sure, what happened at the hotel was scary, but... Siddika continued as if she knew exactly what I was thinking. Remember how scary it was when we used to go chasing after urban legends? Remember how you snuck into that hospital because it was an adventure? I nodded. I just dreamed about it. That was scary too, but even when you were crying, you said that the terror was something special because no one else had experienced it. You were crying back then too. Was I? Here, finish it all. Oh, thanks. Siddika took her glass of juice and gulped it down.
So? I mean, so?
So what? Come on. Oh, right. So anyway, I figured that you'd say that since you had an experience that no one else had, and that even if it was scary, this was your big chance. Her voice was light as she drank her juice, but her words didn't feel light at all. Something other people hadn't experienced. Something different from other people. Sometimes I don't know if she's smart or dumb. I stared at Siddika's face. How much did she understand about what she was saying? What? Oh, no, you can't have any. She moved the juice away from me. I was wrong. She probably didn't realize anything. Actually, she wasn't even thinking about anything. She really was dumb. She is going to prove to be the smartest person here. I'm calling it now. Also, she's going to make me cry probably at some point. We'll find out. I don't know about hearing that from a part-timer. Right? Does he just not give a damn? Well, normally, why would he? You can't have mine. That would be an indirect kiss. Hey, did I ever tell you about the comments from the Shibuya earthquake victims? What do you mean? I was pretty sure I'd told her a bunch of times. Well, whatever, time for a lecture. Remember how, just after the chaos from the earthquake calmed down, a ton of reporters started asking the victims for comments, before the term chaos child syndrome existed? Of course, I'd been in a coma for about a year after the earthquake, so I'd only investigated it after I woke up. Most of the interviews were about what good citizens we were. After that huge disaster, there was barely any violence or looting. They said this was amazing. And I think they were right. When they asked the victims what was the hardest part, most people were more concerned about others than themselves. They talked about how they couldn't contact their families and tell them they were safe, or how they couldn't give their children their favorite foods. But then one person said something different. I remembered what they said word for word. It had left a huge impression on me. You outsiders have some nerve if you're telling us to hang in there. To be honest, I agreed completely. They said exactly what I was thinking. I didn't know who they were, but I admired them anyway. Those feelings were the exact opposite of all the excited, fired up people on the outside. I think whoever said that was someone close to me, not just someone who saw the whole thing on the internet, not just someone who happened to be caught up in the earthquake. You mean one of your parents? Hmm. Oh, hey, the guys from the tennis club say they're coming to the drinking party after the festival. Seriously? Oh, well, then we definitely won't be able to drink at home. I was different. I was different than the people who just lived normal lives in Shibuya. I ripped the bandage off my cheek. The wound had closed up. My face was back to normal. I was back to normal. The case was right in front of me. I had a huge mystery to investigate. I wasn't about to just be caught up in something. As a right-sider, it was my job to jump right into the middle of all this information, right? I could feel something like excitement mixed with a sense of duty welling up inside me. I couldn't stop myself from smiling. You might be put in danger again. Huh? You mean the case? I nodded. Siddika laughed a little strangely. And then, for some reason, she patted me lightly on the shoulder. I didn't know what that meant, but I started to laugh too. Siddika nodded. All right, let's start with the Love Hotel case then. Siddika took out her Pokecom. She typed into it with a practiced hand. She seemed to be loading a video file. What's this? This? This is the video you took at the scene. I uploaded it to an online storage site before the police deleted it. Shit, man. I love her. Little criminal. She's my girl. I'm calling it now. She is my best girl. I haven't met most of the other girls yet, but by the time I got back home, the sun had long since set and it was past 8 p.m. I realized that I'd barely eaten anything since arriving at the Love Hotel and suddenly felt very hungry. So I'd eaten a meal at LAX. Sorry. Hey, I've been wondering since the last time I came here. Did you change your hot water pot? It used to be more. Oh, you made this into a closet. Siddika had followed me home. She started to glance around the room and offer her opinions on the way it was laid out. She would open drawers and be surprised even though there was nothing important inside, or look at new files about the cases and tell me her contents at a glance. She always was a little strange like that. She would be surprised by the most obvious things, but sometimes she would show startling insight. And wait, you're really excited about something, aren't you? She laughed another strange laugh. Is it that much fun to try and solve this case? It's more like it feels wrong to give up on something you want to do until you've really given it your all. No matter how it ends up, it's the only way anything matters. You're going to die someday, but you aren't dead right now. I see, I thought. She was right. A sound came from my PC. The copy operation was finished. Okay, now delete the original in the online storage. Huh? Why? Just because of what it is. I don't want anybody seeing it. This is my private storage, so it should be okay. Even so, I want there to be no chance that someone else can access it. Actually, delete the one on your Pokecom too. Okay. Taku, what are you doing? Okay. Well, we wanted to see what positive was, so... She looked over at me while she rifled through my bookcases. Making kakonto. Kakonto? Huh? What kind of food is that? Are you serious?
It's an herbal drink. Gang gave it to me. It keeps you from vomiting.
Wow, I'm amazed you know something about I'm amazed you know some about something like that.
All right, let's see what our positive delusion trigger looked like.
And then some information I'd found before flashed across my mind. Of course, it was from Cool Cat Press.
Oh no, this is not going to go well.
I'd read about it in a certain special they'd run. If you put eye drops into a beer, it will make a girl feel aroused. No, it
Probably actually won't do anything because eye drops are mostly saline unless they're prescription, but
at the time I hadn't believed it. In another issue, they'd said that eye drops in cola would make a girl go to sleep. Adding eye drops into a drink would create unusual side effects. I'd heard a rumor that was just an urban legend, though. But what would happen if you put eye drops into kakonto?
yeah, instant regret.
There was a stupid teenage girl who didn't even know what kakonto was right in front of me. Should I try it?
I prepared 2 cups like it was the most natural thing in the world and poured out the kakonto I'd made. Yeah, I do kind of regret this, I'm not gonna lie.
Then, taking special care that Serika wouldn't see me, I added a few drops of eye drop medicine from my shelf onto her drink.
Why is this positive?
Here. I gave her the cup, acting very naturally. Thanks.
She took a drink without suspecting a thing.
I gulped as I watched her. Huh? What? What's wrong?
Yeah, maybe we should stick to the negative. If we get murdered a bunch of times, like, that might be better.
Oh no. This is terrible. It tastes like medicine.
It's Chinese herbal medicine, after all. With added eye drops, to be precise. I decided to watch and see what happened.
Wait, I kind of feel...
Hmm?
Isn't it hot in here?
Sirika's cheeks seemed a little pink. Oh no. What have we done?
And she seemed to be kind of spacing out. Was it starting to work already? I didn't expect it to work so fast. Hey, Taka? I feel really weird.
Her breathing was getting shallower. She was fidgeting and rubbing her thighs together. She was clearly behaving differently than she usually did. Way to go, Cool Cat Press. No, not way to go. Oh, what have we done?
I'm gonna go use your bathroom.
The bathroom? What are you going to do?
It's a secret.
A secret? Are you feeling okay? Hey, tell me what you're going to do in the bathroom. Why are we interrogating her about what she's going to do in the bathroom? Oh, what have we done?
Something naughty.
Huh?
Don't make me say it, dummy.
I see. I gulped. You can use the bathroom if you want, but don't be in there too long, okay?
Huh? I don't want to go to the bathroom.
Huh? Sirika was looking at me surprised. Her cheeks weren't flushed and her expression was normal.
Where'd that come from?
Oh, no, never mind. I desperately tried to recover as I drank my own kakonto. I hadn't found any eye drops on the shelf, so I'd given up on the experiment. Oh my god, we actually considered it.
Yeah, I'm done in the bathroom. You might not want to go in there for a few, decades.
Sirika complained about the taste, but swallowed it down anyway.
Gen's such a nice guy, though. I like him.
I wish he wouldn't get drunk so often, though.
But he's your only real friend here at the park, right? So he really is a good guy.
Was that why? Well, he did help me out a lot.
Okay, it's deleted.
Sirika put away her Pokecom. Alright. I booted up the laptop next to the wall and sat down in the chair that folded out into a bed. As I went to load the video file into the player software, I happened to glance at its length.
26 minutes?
Were we in the room that long?
Oh,
Sirika said.
I don't think so. Right after you passed out, the police arrived, but I was sick and throwing up. At some point, I grabbed your phone and put it in my pocket. And then when I was in the police car, I realized I had it. That was when I turned off the record button.
So that was it. Come to think of it, I hadn't asked how it had happened. I'm amazed you had time to upload it to the storage before the police deleted it. Sedika nodded as if she felt the same way.
It was blind luck. When we got to the station, I got sick again, so I ran to the bathroom, and that's when I got the idea.
No, I'm really amazed. I really was. I'd passed out in the hotel, and the next thing I knew, I was at the station. Supposedly, I'd walked from the patrol car to my room, but the memory was vague and hazy. I took a big sip from the cup to choke down the urge to vomit and slowly let it sink into my stomach. If the recording was successful, then I should see what I'd seen then. It had happened 2 days ago, but it had left such a strong impression on me that it didn't feel like that much time had passed at all. Yeah, I mean, look, having a weird, like, fantasy in the middle of things, kid's a teenager, there's hormones, like, whatever. But the fact that he looked for the eye drops, he lost some points there. I did not like that. Which kind of makes me wonder if the alternative, like if the negative isn't we put the eye drops in her drink and it murders her. I took a deep breath and told myself it was time to do this. I looked over at Serika.
Okay.
She nodded back at me and glared at the monitor. Okay. I tried to steady my slightly shaking finger as I clicked the file. The first thing I noticed was that sound. The peaceful sound of the music box that filled the room from that spinning bed. A dark, gloomy room, a curtain in the back, and a rotating bed behind it. It was that room. There we go. Negative is putting the eye drops in our own drink by accident and embarrassing ourselves. The same emotions I'd experienced before came flooding back to me through the blurry screen. I could sense my own hesitation for my gasping breaths. Huh? Sedika grabbed my shoulder at the sudden sound. It's okay. I think that's just where I made the floor creak.
Oh, yeah, I see.
The camera was slowly moving towards the back of the room. At some point, my breathing matched the breathing in the recording. It scared me, so I pulled away a little and took a deep breath to isolate myself from the person in the video. I heard that sound. The sound of the wire creaking as the bed spun. I could feel the panic coming through the screen. I wasn't sure what to do. I'm going to keep going. I could tell that Sedika was gulping a little. As I spoke, the camera kept going forward. I could hear Sedika's soft gasp in the video. The police officer and that woman were lying on the floor. I hadn't realized it at the time, but the glass was scattered all around. Damn. The camera quickly panned without warning. Panning is a video recording term. It refers to fixing the camera in a single location while changing the direction it faces. It was that bed. The silhouette behind the curtain was probably that man. The angle was off and wasn't pointing directly at the bed. At that point, I hadn't really been aware of the smartphone. Let's get out of here, now! I heard a dull thud and the screen went black.
Huh? Did you drop it?
Probably. It felt like I'd tripped and fallen backwards. The phone had probably fallen from my hands. Was it black because the camera had fallen face down?
Tuck, the door won't open.
Sedika's voice sounded like it was a little far away. It was still picking up sound, evidently. I could hear myself trying to open the door and swearing when I failed. That's right, I'd been fighting with the door then. And then... Huh? My body shivered as if it had gone numb. This was... I could hear it. Hey, you heard it, right?
Yeah.
I could hear it. The police said the surveillance cameras hadn't shown anyone else coming into the room, but I could hear it. That constant rhythmic knocking. Somehow it made me feel uneasy and scared. Someone had been on the other side of that door. And suddenly the screen moved. What?
Taka, we need to get out of here.
It was showing the man on the bed. The screen was blurry, but the man was almost exactly in the center of the viewfinder. Had I picked up the smartphone? I couldn't remember.
Taka!
In the video, I ignored Sedika's voice and kept pointed the camera at the man.
I could hear my own rough breathing, and I remember how I'd felt then. Then suddenly, I heard a snap. Huh? The screen moved violently for a second, and then for a moment it showed the girl. Then the angle changed again, and it stopped moving. The screen was covered in red blood, but is that the ceiling? What I was looking at was probably the room's ceiling. Since it didn't move at all, this was probably where I'd passed out and dropped it. Just like before, the camera was still recording the sound. I could hear Sedika vomiting and what sounded like someone falling over.
What? Hey, what happened here?
It caught the police officers running into the room. They were asking Sedika what was going on. She was probably the only one there who was still conscious. Shortly after, the screen went black. Sedika had probably put the phone into her pocket, just like she'd said. I could hear an irritating noise that must have been the sound of the phone scraping the skirt's fabric. The screen stayed black, but it kept picking up the nearby sound. Then, at the very end, there was a quick shot of the inside of a patrol car. I realized that at some point I'd leaned my body towards the screen. I sat back in my chair. I'd known what was going to happen, but this was still hard. To be honest, I was lucky that the phone was dropped and a lot of it wasn't clearly recorded. I didn't feel as much of an urge to vomit as I'd expected, but I was still sweaty from a nasty, unpleasant feeling. I gulped down the last bit of liquid in my cup. "Oh no, are you okay?" I asked Sedika, and then, "Hey, Taka, did you say something weird at the end of the video?" "Huh? What? Weird? The whole thing was weird. Not a second of it was normal. Once we went further into the room." Sedika moved the mouse to jump backwards in the video. I couldn't tell whether she was tough or simply dense, but maybe it just felt like nothing but a video. But she advanced through the shocking scenes with no hesitation. "Here, look, outside the window." Hmm? Yeah. I could see the wall of the Love Hotel across the street from the open window. There was something there. What is this? A bug, maybe? If there was a bug that big in it, Kurisu would go blow up the whole building. She hated bugs. Then maybe some graffiti? Why was her first answer a bug and her second answer the sensible one? No. Oh, wait, I've seen this before. I switched from my player software to my editing software and then blew up that part of the screen. Damn it, I could make it out, but it was so far away that it was blurry. The resolution was too low. See, it is a bug. It's spreading its wings. It is not. I've seen this somewhere before. Ah! What? I turned around at the loud noise. Hello? Sir? I have returned. Sorry to keep you waiting. There was a drunk man with a bottle of booze in his hand. Is this Gen? Give me a break. Of course no one was waiting. Make less noise when you come in. Hey, Gen. Thanks for your help. My help? You told me about the thing at the Love Hotel, remember? Oh, did I? Well, doesn't matter. Something happened. Great! Taku wants to be a reporter after all. I didn't, really? Yeah, I know. Unfortunately, we're not in one of those stories where you can zoom in and enhance and, like, we're not in the CSI where it's a blurry license plate and all of a sudden they zoom in and you can read it. Every day I supposedly wanted to be a different thing. Last time it was a movie director. I have returned. Hey, listen, Taka. Look what I've acquired so that I may remain me. Where is it? He started patting down the pockets of his very old coat. This annoying old man was Gen. He was the elder ruler of this park and the CEO of a building with a 3 billion yen a year salary and the best friend of my father, Jiro, at least according to him. My dad's name wasn't even Jiro. He was related to a clan of foreign nobles, and so if he ever needed to, he could summon a foreign special forces team to do his bidding. Except last week, his bed had been taken over by a stray dog and he had to come stay with me. It's gone. My most important thing is gone. Crap, how am I supposed to piss? Hey, Gen, don't take off your pants. Gen was always loud when he got drunk, and when he got really drunk, he was louder. Today, he wasn't very drunk. I had no idea what he was like when he was sober. I'd never seen it happen or heard of it happening. Sometimes, or often actually, at least once a week, he would come by my room drunk, talk for a while, and then leave to search the park for more alcohol. I found it! I found it, Missy! Look at this. I'm not going to look. Absolutely not. He was obnoxious as hell, to put it mildly, but I couldn't chase him away. Actually, I couldn't complain about him much at all. When I'd left the dorm half a year ago, I'd ended up in the bottom half of Mieszta Park. Since the upper half kept the rain off, the bottom half was one of the most popular spots. A lot of the reason I was able to get this spot and even get this motorhome was because of Gen. You're awful! That's disgusting! When I'd lived in the dorm, I'd done some cooking for the homeless in Mieszta Park as part of our volunteer activities. Gen had remembered that. A nobleman does not forget his debts, was all he said. And then somehow I'd been given this place. He was also the one who taught me how to get by in this place. Oh, right, Taku, look at this. Want to buy it? Gen took something out of his pocket. Oh no. I ripped a copy of my favorite magazine out of his hands. I quickly glanced over to Serika. I hate you, Gen. She was mumbling that over and over to herself. I thought she liked him. Well, she just possibly saw his dick, so, you know. Good, she didn't see it. I breathed a sigh of relief and hid it someplace nearby. How much? Gen raised a single finger. This was one rule, for example. It was the first thing I'd learned in the park. The homeless would never, ever ask you for money. It was the one thing they could never say. Money was either found lying on the ground or earned by working or selling things. It wasn't something that other people gave you. I took out a 100-yen coin from my wallet and gave it to him. Gen grabbed it and put it in his pocket like he didn't really care. Cup. Hey, I see that a lot lately. He was looking at the PC monitor as he spoke. Oh, is it a sumo sticker? Oh, shit. For a moment, I didn't know what he meant. Huh? My eyes met Sirika's for just a moment. The monitor was still displaying that blurry, blown-up image. He saw it a lot? Hey, Gen? You know what this is? I want to play some baseball. He was in his own little world. What was this guy's problem? I got closer to him. Gen, have you seen this before? Huh? I mean, it's everywhere you look, like in front of the station. Wait, what's the station again? Huh? You mean the train station, right? Shibuya Station? You know, wait, Taku, it was in the last thing you showed me, right? Huh? You know, a few years ago, when you did a stakeout in a karaoke box and were the first person to get something or other. That was last weekend, actually. When I'd been uploading the photos of the crime scene I took from the karaoke box, Gen had come by and seen them. Yeah, I have a birthmark that looks just like it. Wanna see? This was it. Oh, Taku, look! It was an image of the karaoke box I'd hidden in to take pictures of the crime scene. It was on the 5th floor. I could see the same mark. I switched from the player software to the editor software just like before and magnified that part of the image. Oh. And then I realized what it was. That's right. I had seen this thing before. And just like Gen said, it was something you could find all over Shibuya. Something that had been there for a long time. This is a sumo wrestler sticker. As I saw the club room for the first time in 3 days, I was stunned. Man, I did my best. I'd been waiting all morning to tell Ito the big discovery I'd made yesterday. I'd stayed up almost all night finding all the information I could on it and then forced myself to wait until school ended to tell him. I called it! I did call it! I figured it out!
I am not going to call absolutely anything else after this, but like I called one whole thing. And I think we're still in chapter 1, so early call. I figured that just sending pictures to his phone or trying to explain it in words would just confuse him. I wanted to stand in front of the board in the club room with all the information we learned so far pinned up on it and use the club time to really work through it. But there was nothing there at all. I could only think of one person who would do that. Kurese?
When we left yesterday, she said it was too dangerous and then she wasn't going to let you do it. Was it because of what happened in the Love Hotel?
In as angry a voice as I could muster, I said,
"Why didn't you stop her?" "I told you, I tried. She told me to shut up, though, and I did."
"You should have done something."
"Don't tell me to do the impossible. Could you have done something?"
"Don't tell me to do the impossible." Ito shrugged as if to say,
"See?"
Yeah, maybe, yeah. Maybe that's the prototype of the phenomenon that compels the Nikonia users to suicide. It's a possibility. Just imagining it scared me a little. Doing something about Kurisu was absolutely impossible. No one in Hekuo was capable of such a thing. I pointed to the PC on the desk. What about the data?
Just consider yourself lucky that she didn't physically destroy the whole hard disk.
So the data was gone too. Ito was probably joking, but if Kurisu thought that she needed to do it, she would have. Onoe, what are you printing out?
Here you go.
Sirika dropped a stack of papers on the desk. I looked down and saw that it was images and articles about the case. It was the ones that were uploaded to the newspaper club server. Where did you get these?
Aren't you always telling me that a true right-sider needs to make sure his stuff is backed up? I mean, you've got backups too, right?
Well, yeah, but... Sirika flipped through the papers.
For some reason, the image quality drops if I print it off my Pokecom. I'll re-upload it to the server.
Wait a second. Sirika went to stretch a cable from her Pokecom to the PC, but I quickly stopped her.
Is this image quality good enough?
That's not it. I mean, the image quality's fine, but I'd rather you didn't upload it to the server for a while. I glanced at Ito as I spoke. The newspaper club server could be accessed from any PC in the school as long as you knew the password. Kurisu was spending her time at the student council getting ready for the culture festival, but there was a chance she might look at the server for some reason. Ito nodded in agreement, a serious look on his face.
You two are too afraid of Non. She's nice, right, Hana? See?
See what? Was Kazuki agreeing? She was pounding down on the keyboard and mouse really hard.
That's because she likes you two. That's right. We visited every crepe stall in Shibuya together. Non knows all about sweets.
Sirika puffed out her chest, very proud of this information. I didn't care in the slightest.
And either way, I think Non's gonna find out.
That was probably true, yeah. If we kept following the case as part of our work with the newspaper club, Kurisu was smart enough to catch on.
It's okay. She'll understand once you talk to her.
I simulated a variety of situations in my mind. All right, do we want to go positive or negative? I mean, Kurisu loved sweets. This was something that Sirika had said and that I'd known about too. I don't know where we're going with this, and I'm scared. Negative? Okay, let's go negative. So would buying her something she liked from a famous sweet shop be enough to win her over? Would bribery work on someone as prim and proper as the student council president? It was worth a try. No, we don't think it's worth a try. Yeah, we do not trust positive anymore. Unless we could win her over, we weren't going to be able to continue with the case. Okay, let's go buy something to bribe her with. Ito, find me the top 3 most famous sweet places in Shibuya.
Leave it to me. The vice president's heart is yours.
It was time for the mission to begin. So here you go. This is a present for you, Kurisu.
I knew that Kurisu was staying late after school to get ready for the festival. I handed her the present I'd just bought. Ito had found me a pancake place near Shibuya Station. It was a popular store where there was always a line of girls outside. I'd heard it was one of the few places where you could get pancakes for takeout, so I quickly chose it. Standing in line with the girls for an hour was almost torture, but I somehow managed to do it. Is this pancake from Eggs and Thanks?
Yeah, why?
What are you planning?
Y- you don't need to say that after I was nice enough to go buy you something.
You've never bought me a present before. You're after something, aren't you?
Yeah, we can pick neutral next time.
Ito, what's going on here? I guess we're bribing you, so you'll let us keep working on the case? You asshole!
You could have put up more of a fight than that.
I'm sorry, Miyashiro. I just can't fight the power of her stare. I'm glad you got me something, but I can't accept this.
Kurisu handed the pancakes back to me. She was always so serious about this stuff.
You two enjoy them. They're very good.
Her face was smiling, but her eyes weren't. Yeah, that's what would happen. Kurisu would see through any attempt at bribery I made. It was a bad idea to try and buy her off. Why would I want to split a pancake dinner with Ito anyway? Or would it work better if Ito didn't go with me? Okay, I've got it.
Huh? You're sure?
Ito must have been really surprised by my answer because he badly overreacted.
I didn't think you were so brave.
I'm always brave when it counts. Just don't put anything on the server yet. I want to be cautious.
Okay.
And for now, we'll put the information on the board, but when it's done, we'll take it off. Things are going to get tricky.
Okay.
And for now, let's not tell Kurisu about the case. We can keep an eye on things until they calm down and then bring it up when she's in a good mood after eating something sweet.
Okay.
Aren't you just being a pussy?
What?
I'm not being a pussy. I'm choosing the method most likely to succeed. If you call that being a pussy, then the definition of pussy... Right, I get it. Well, no, wait, I'm gonna put up the map. Hold on that end.
Okay.
Ito and Sirika took out the big map we used for the board. This is the best way to persuade her. He didn't get it at all. There was no way I could persuade Kurisu if I tried to go after her head on.
Wait, Miyashiro, let me be serious for a second here.
He had a very serious tone in his voice as he hung up the top of the map. Huh? I'd been serious this whole time.
Is it okay to keep following the case?
I told you, I'll persuade her eventually. I'm not being a pussy, I'm just being cautious.
That's not what I'm talking about. You saw something really bad, right? In the Love Hotel.
Sirika froze midway through the process of taping down the bottom of the map. So that was it? I hadn't told Ito anything about the Love Hotel. I hadn't told him about what I'd seen or experienced there. I mean, we also didn't talk to him for 2 days, so I think he could probably connect the dots, but I tried my best to give him a cheerful smile. It's fine, no problem. This is way too big a scoop not to chase, right? Ito didn't answer. He stared at me as if trying to figure me out. And then he relaxed and laughed a little. Well, I figured as much when we talked on the phone. He was probably talking about the call I'd made yesterday. After I'd made my discovery, I'd called Ito and asked him to find all the information he could about the Love Hotel case. It had already been 3 days since it had happened. I hadn't been really following it at all, so I'd asked Ito to put together what he could find.
Okay, all set.
Sirika finished pinning the map to the board. Okay, let's get started. It was a brand new map of Shibuya. We'd had to put it up from scratch again, but now that I looked at it, maybe that wasn't such a bad thing. I'd made a huge discovery which could impact the whole case. It was a good idea to start over from the beginning. First, we'll assume that there's a connection between the dates when these incidents are happening and the incident 6 years ago. In other words, we'll consider all 3 cases so far as part of a set. This is regardless of whether someone's behind this or what they might be after.
Yeah, that makes sense now that there have been 3 incidents. If we find out that we're wrong, we can reconsider things then.
Alright, let's start with the locations. The first case, Don't Look at Me, took place in Dinnan. So here's the picture of the body. Okay, don't look at me. That was this case. And here's the summary of the case. By the way, the incident that occurred 6 years ago on the same date was the group dive. Okay, guess we're gonna figure out which one. Okay, so that looks like a hand, so I don't think that's it. That's a one person. Okay, so there's multiple people on this one, but also this one looks like someone maybe fell. But these people are hanging. We'll go with that one. And here's the summary of the case. Hopefully they're going to tell me if I've got one wrong. That's it for the first case. Let's move on to the second. Leaky noise happened in Shinsen, so... Here's the picture of the body. Okay, leaky noise was the guitar player, so... And here's the summary of the case. By the way, the incident that occurred 6 years ago on the same date was, the pregnant man. I assume it must be this one, because he's got something on his belly, I think. And here's the summary of the case. Okay, finally, the one that took place in the Love Hotel. That happened in the Love Hotel area in Dogonzaka, so... So, about the summary. I looked at Ito and I could see he was nervous. He was worried, but at the same time a little excited. What's wrong? You okay? Yeah, first, can you show me what you put together? I want to know what the public knows about it. I saw the name they gave it. Oh, yeah, just give me a second. Ito got out his own Pokecom and started to fiddle with it. He linked to the printer over the network and printed out his files. Wait, you're not upping them to the server after all, are you? Of course not. I don't want to get punched. I told you, you're too scared of her. Yeah. Do you know what summary fits this murder incident? Like, I do kind of feel like I get the Dora the Explorer thing. I can kind of feel it. I skimmed the printout that Ito made for me. After all the cases we'd researched together, he knew how to summarize information into a single page like a pro. Ito read from his own printout. The name was announced last night. The victim was Hironori Kakita, a 22-year-old resident of Shibuya. He had a part-time job at Koshin. Koshin? How can you not know about them? They're a huge, successful venture capital firm. They'd been making a lot of money lately off of the Shibuya reconstruction. Just like Shibuya News said, he was a male in his 20s. Nice. So you checked there? That was about the only thing I could do, Ito said as he nodded. Wait, she said that he was in his 20s the night it happened. At that point, the only official announcement was that a man's body had been found. Jeez, where does she find this stuff? I couldn't agree more. How did Kea do her research? The cause of death was strangulation due to hanging. They decided it was suicide after a romantic quarrel. Huh? A suicide? Over a fight with a lover? It was ruled to be a suicide? Yeah, that's what the cops said. The only other information they came out with was that he was pretty good at his job. He made a surprising amount off a commission sales job. So, who'd he get in a fight with? Huh? I mean, if he had a fight with his girlfriend, that means he had a girlfriend, right? Oh, I see. Ito looked through a bunch of files on his Pokecom. No, I don't have anything on that. What about witnesses?
The hotel staff were the ones that found him, but nothing else was said. Of course, there was nothing about you two either. Hmm. What was going on? So they hadn't said anything about the other girl at the scene? Taka. Sedika was staring at me confused. She was probably thinking the same thing. I could understand why there wasn't any information about us. The police had said there wouldn't be, and to be honest, we were just gawkers. There was no real point in telling anyone we were there. But that girl clearly seemed to be involved in the case. If they said he got into a fight with his girlfriend, then it didn't make sense not to report the girl who was there. Was it because she was a minor? I wasn't sure, but she had looked young. She definitely wasn't older than 19. No, even then they'd say something. Whenever there was a problem with someone dating underage girls, they never reported the girl's name, but they always reported her existence. Oh, that's cute. Look, like, Steve can come solve our murder case. Like, what's wrong? I'll explain. I pinned up the information that Ito had given me. The picture of the body from the Love Hotel is... It is this one. Again, I don't know what happens if I've got one of these wrong, so hopefully I don't have one of these wrong. What's this? A picture I took at the Love Hotel. Huh? You took pictures? Ito almost jumped on me in shock. I nodded. More specifically, I took a frame from the video I recorded and printed it out. Oh no, I uploaded it to her private storage before the police could delete it. Seriously? Oh wow, that means nobody has this but us. Ito put his face up to the picture in excitement. What? He hung himself sitting down? Is this a wire? He mumbled to himself as he stared at it, trying to memorize every last detail. What is this? What the hell happened here? As I listened to Ito speak excitedly, I looked toward Serika. I wasn't sure why I was looking at her. But she nodded as if she understood. I nodded back. The police had told us not to tell anyone, but I didn't care. Fuck the popo. I slowly started to explain what had happened to Ito. How we'd made it into the hotel undetected, how the room we'd seen from the outside was where we'd found the body, how we'd gone inside and found the police officer lying on the floor, how the body in the photo was sitting on a spinning bed and slowly rotating, and how there'd been another girl there and how someone had tried to enter the room. But I didn't tell him how the door had unlocked itself. The police had told me I'd imagined it, and they'd made me realize I had no proof. Between my curiosity and my fear, I'd been a mess at the time anyway, and more than anything, without any kind of proof, I wasn't sure it had happened at all. When I finished, Ito's first questions were the same as mine had been. So, there was a girl at the scene, and then someone tried to come into the room. The girl was real, but they couldn't find any evidence of someone trying to come into the room, could they? That was right. That was what the police had told me. But I heard the knocking, and I have the sound on my video. Just the sound, right? That doesn't prove that someone was on the other side of the door knocking. No, I mean, logically, you're right, but I'm sure someone was on the other side. Ito cut me off, clearly irritated. Logically, I'm right. You're the one who's always telling me that logic is the only thing that matters. Don't call me an idiot. I just prefer to cover all my bases. Let's start with what we know for sure, right? Damn it. He could only say that because he hadn't heard it in person. That strange, eerie sound which hung in the depths of your ears and wouldn't let go. But that was true. I guess he's right, yeah. I hadn't seen for myself someone trying to enter the room. Maybe he took my silence as agreement. So, about this woman who was there. Oh, that's why you were asking about his girlfriend? She was more of a girl than a woman. Huh? A girl? I think she was probably around my age, and I don't think she was older. She was the same age or a year or two younger, maybe. Maybe. I wasn't sure, but if Serika said so, she was probably right. Serika never had any evidence or proof for her statements, but she was often correct. But there was nothing about her in the news, was there? I looked back at Ito to check. Yeah, I checked everything from gossip magazines to the official newspaper announcements. I even took a look at the aggregator wiki, but there was nothing like that. I see. Which means we'll have to look for ourselves, I suppose. I flipped through the remaining papers. Any other clues? There was something I noticed when I was going back through the footage. This one's nice and logical. I've got real proof after all. You're a petty little man, aren't you? Say what you like. It was finally time to tell Ethel what I'd found. Where's that image that I made yesterday that had a nice picture of the sticker? Do you know what this is? Ethel looked at the picture for a moment, uncertain. I've seen that before. What is it? He used his Pokecom to run a search. Yeah, that's a sumo wrestler sticker, right? Yep, that's what they call it, or sumo sticker for short. No one knows who's putting them up or why. There are a lot of theories about where they came from, but the first time they really showed up on the net was 2007. At one point, they were famous enough that the TV stations were reporting on them, but after the 2009 Shibuya quake, everyone stopped talking about them. The city where the stickers were going up had been destroyed. People had bigger things to talk about. But starting sometime last year, they'd started to appear in Shibuya again. There are a lot of different rumors about what they are. Of course, some people say that they're a prank. Others say they're some sort of tagging or a spiritual barrier of some sort. Tagging is the act of painting a mark on an individual or symbol on a wall or on public property. Marks painted in this way are called tags, sometimes considered a kind of street art. Since the vast majority of taggers don't get permission for their work, tagging is often a crime. One of the stranger ones is a theory that it's actually a sumo wrestler putting up stickers of his own face. Yeah, the Illuminati. But I don't think that's right. They call these things sumo wrestler stickers, but that's just because the man in them has a fat face. There's no actual proof that they're modeled after a sumo wrestler. Hold it for a second. Ito cut me off just as I was getting started. Come on, man, I was just about to get good. Who cares? Did these stickers have anything to do with the case? I don't know. Huh? I still don't know, but the sticker placed near the scene of Don't Look at Me was... let's see. It was this one, because it was the one on the wall near the karaoke place. This is a blown up version from the picture I showed you from the Don't Look at Me case. It's the wall outside the karaoke place I went to. Is that a sumo sticker? Yeah, it's a little blurry, but I'm sure of it. Oh, wait, you're not telling me. Yep, there was one near the Love Hotel too, placed at a spot where I could see the crime scene. Then what? What about leaky noise? No, I don't know about that yet. I looked yesterday and couldn't find anything at the scene of the incident. But we just learned that if something happens twice, it's worth betting on, right? Ito fell silent as if he was thinking about something. Oh, I was hoping he'd be a little more surprised. But I guess that's the best I could expect. Or maybe there was too much new information coming in at once for him to keep up. By the way, the incident that occurred 6 years ago on the same date was, crucified, so... Well, that looks like a crucifixion. And here's the summary of the case. For now, the dates match, but the actual cases don't seem to have much to do with what happened 6 years ago. Don't Look at Me happened on the same day as the group dive, but there was only one victim, and we don't know for sure that it was a suicide. The pregnant man happened on the same day as Leaky Noise, but while both of them involved something stuffed in the stomach, the victim in the latter was a girl. I don't see anything in common between Crucified and the Love Hotel incident. So, since we can't find any other ways to proceed with the case, I think we should try seeing where the sumo stickers take us. But, maybe I was overthinking this, but there was no telling what else would be related to the case. Just in case, I decided to put up the data on the other new generation incidents from 6 years ago. October 10th, Vampire. October 23rd, Brain Dead. October 28th, Yummy Hand. November 4th, the DQN puzzle. Yeah, that should do it. I looked at the board and nodded in satisfaction. It's about all we know for now. Who wants coffee? As I finished going over the information, Siddika got some cups ready. Oh no. Hmm? Kazuki, who had been ignoring the conversation up until now, suddenly stood up. She grabbed the cups from Siddika with a speed you'd never believe she possessed. Aw, it's fine, Hana. You always make us stuff to drink, right? Hmm. Kazuki shook her head rapidly from left to right and then motioned for Siddika to sit down. Good work. Oh no, it's fine. She's been nice enough to make it for us. I practically forced Siddika to sit down in her chair. What? But... No, there was no way I was letting Siddika do any kind of cooking. How bad was she? She was so bad that I couldn't let her make coffee. She was so bad she'd once asked me what kind of dish you used to wash the vegetables. I breathed a sigh of relief as she reluctantly sat down. Even Kazuki was relieved enough that you could actually tell what she was feeling for once. She started to make the coffee. I turned around to see if Ito needed any. He was still thinking. He must have been thinking hard. He didn't even seem to notice that Siddika was making coffee, which normally would have been cause for panic. I decided for now to put the coffee that Kazuki had made in front of him. He seemed to understand the situation and stretched out his hand. Hey, you've still got that footage of the hotel room, right? Yeah, she was so bad that she had no idea what food I was trying to roofie her with was. Yeah, it's on my Pokecommon smartphone. I deleted all the other copies for safety reasons. Ito glared at my Pokécom for a second, then turned towards me. Let me see it. I wasn't sure what to do. He must have been able to sense my uncertainty. Did the cops tell you not to tell anyone what happened? Yeah, but no, that's not the issue. I've already told you what happened for one thing. It's more like, I don't know, if you see this... In a TV show or a movie, this is where the hero would say, there's no going back. Undergoing a shocking event changed the way you felt about the rest of your life. When you learned a hidden secret, it changed you. Just like when I learned about my parents. It's a go. Let me see it. Ito saw that I was hesitating and cut me off. You saw it in person, right? I want to see it too. Do you? Do you really? It didn't seem like he was going to change his mind. Okay. All right, let's look at it on the computer monitor. It'll be easier to see on the bigger screen, right? Siddika, the only person who didn't seem to understand the gravity of the situation, spoke up. Or maybe she just didn't think it was important. Shin's a club member, right? He has to see it. Yeah. Ito smiled as if he'd relaxed a little. He brought his hands up to his cheeks and gave them a slap to psych himself up. Okay, we can copy it to the desktop for now. I'll shut down this browser. And then he froze. Huh? Shit, look at this! Ito pointed to the monitor, his voice shaking. Siddika and I hurried behind him to see what he was looking at, and gulped. What is this video? I don't know. It just showed up on the aggregator wiki. The curtains opened, and the man appeared. There was no mistaking it. It was that room in the Love Hotel. The man must have been Kakita. I couldn't see her face, but was that the girl? It had to be. Her clothes matched what I remembered. Hey, what the hell? The bed spun around and the wire dug into Kakita's neck. There was no sound in the video, but I could hear the sound of the wire and the music box in my mind. Kakita's face took on a color very similar to what I'd seen in person, and the footage ended. What the hell is this? Are you kidding me? Hey, Miyashiro! I almost jumped off the ground. Oh, sorry. What the hell is this? Did you make this video? Ito yelled at me hysterically. I quickly shook my head. Of course not. I was inside the room. Then what the hell is it? I don't know. How would I? Sidika's hand suddenly stretched out. Hey, what are you doing? Stop. Calm down, Taku. See? No fighting.
She grabbed us both by the cheek and pinched hard.
Ow, ow. That really hurts. Did you calm down? No more yelling? No more fighting?
Uh, this is really painful. Please stop. Ito and I nodded and Serika let go. What was that for?
Because you two were yelling. But you can't just...
Ito rubbed his cheek and gave Serika an angry glare. She must have grabbed him really hard because I could see a red mark forming in the shape of her hand. That mean I had one of those too?
No fighting. You two looked like you were about to start hitting each other, you know?
Serika repeated. She didn't seem to think she'd done anything wrong at all. Oh, maybe she hadn't. Kazuki gave Serika a thumbs up.
Yep.
Serika gave her a satisfied thumbs up in return. I didn't get it.
You know, you're gonna be the kind of mom who says hitting is wrong as she beats up her kid.
Ito's words impressed me. It was one of the most accurate predictions I'd heard in years. Serika frowned and said that she'd never do that.
So anyway, what's this?
She pointed to the monitor. She didn't seem too bothered by it. She must have been used to seeing gory videos because she looked pretty calm. I rubbed my cheek as I looked on. This is being filmed from outside, right?
It's definitely the room you were in.
I nodded, a little uncertain. I'm pretty sure that the body was like that too.
Shit, what is this? Hey, shouldn't we save that file? Yeah, you're right. There's no telling when it'll be deleted.
That was enough to bring Ito back to his senses. He saved the file to the PC with a slightly more unsteady hand than usual. Katsuki was still playing her game, but the rest of us stared at the download bar as it filled up little by little. And when it finished and the file was saved...
This wasn't just somebody playing a prank, right?
Serika knew better than anyone else that it was no such thing, but she asked anyways. I nodded firmly. Hey, who took this? Wait, who posted it? Ito frowned.
I'm no hacker. All we amateurs could find out is at best the IP address, right? There's no way we could use that to track them down.
You're right. Sometimes the media would say that the police used an IP address to track down a criminal's address, but strictly speaking, that wasn't quite right. Under some special circumstances, like a customer paying for a static address, it was possible, but most of the time you couldn't track down an individual PC from an IP address. And even if you could, the most you could track down was a PC, not a person. Several years ago, this had led to a very famous false arrest case. What the heck were we supposed to do now? I scratched my head, confused.
Hey, while we're at it, let's look at the other one.
Huh?
The video you took at the Love Hotel. I already saw the last one. I don't think anything could bother me now.
Ito sounded like he was having a hard time believing what he'd seen was real. He'd already copied the file off the Pokécom and gone to open it. He probably was just overwhelmed. I know that was how I'd been. I took it up close, so it's pretty brutal. I gave him a warning, and he responded with a firm nod. He clicked on the file.
Xing, are you sure? Yeah, probably. I think she was a humanities student.
Ito was moving at a quick pace. His expression was serious, but he was having trouble hiding his excitement. Is that really possible?
Come on, it's true, man.
We were following Ito down the hallway quickly. After seeing the video of the room at the Love Hotel, he'd said, I know this girl. He'd said that he knew the girl who'd been in the room with us. That couldn't be true. Yeah, where's the enhance button? Serika and I had insisted he was mistaken, but Ito wouldn't listen.
I saw her at a club leaders meeting, I think.
Even if he was right, the club leaders meeting was where all the leaders of the school clubs and teams got together. If she was there, did that mean she was a leader in some club? I asked Ito, but he just smirked a little.
We don't know that. Our president at the newspaper club is terrible at talking to groups of people, and our vice president was in charge of the meeting itself. So I had to go, even though I'm just an ordinary member. Maybe there's someplace else like that.
I'm not terrible at it. Well, I didn't like it. It made me nervous. Being in front of all those people,
And everybody knows those meetings never actually lead to anything productive. If you made a movie out of one of them, no one would go see it. You just what? Forget it. And anyway, where are you going? Here. Ito suddenly stopped. It was the student council room on the 6th floor of the annex building. Why? They've got pictures of all the club members here. It'll be faster than searching the whole school, right? Wait a second. I pulled Ito away from the door. You idiot! What if Kudus is here? Ito gave a little moan. If that happens, you just try and fool her somehow. If I was even remotely capable of that, we wouldn't need... Excuse me. Onoe ignored us completely and walked right into the room. Damn, now what? We just have to pray she wasn't here. I mean, she got us through the hotel, so... Huh? Our eyes met, and I suddenly forgot how to breathe. Huh? Why? It was that girl. All right, positive or negative? Or neutral? We have options. What was she doing here? Takuru, what brings you three here? Neutral, okay. Oh, no. The woman, no, the girl, stared at us suspiciously. And then, for the first time, she realized that I couldn't take my eyes off of her. Huh? What's wrong with you people? The words wouldn't come out. What do I say? Why was she here? Why was she acting so normal? Yeah, that's true. No, do you know her? Sirika motioned towards the girl. Huh? Yeah, she's Hinaya Arimura. She's a second year who leads the literature club. Oh, hello. The girl bowed to us. Are you friends of Chris's? Yes, that's Shinji Ito and Sirika Onoe. He's in third year and she's in the second year. They're both in the newspaper club. And that's Takuru Miyashiro, the club president, my little brother and a boy who doesn't know his place. Kurisu's eyes narrowed as she glared at me. He's your brother? But your last name's from an orphanage, you see. Huh, so you're siblings, but not actually related, huh? Sounds kind of naughty, doesn't it? Don't like that. Please don't act like this is some kind of novel. But still, doesn't it seem kind of naughty? She asked with a wink. What? Why? What are you doing here? I wiped my sweaty hands on my pants and tried to ignore my pounding heart. What are you doing? Huh? Damn it. Get the words out. Takuru? Sirika seemed to understand what I was trying to say and finished my sentence for me. What are you doing here, Arimura? Huh? I was talking to Kurisu about the culture festival. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. I'll be going, I guess. Sorry, Kurisu. Kurisu waved a hand and told her not to worry. If you can't do it, you can't. I'll tell the teachers that the literature club won't be participating in the culture festival. But... Yes? You're absolutely sure you can't tell me what's going on, right? We girls have our secrets, you know? All right, but I won't be able to help you next year, okay? Right. Bye-bye. The girl put her bag on her shoulder and bowed to us and then went to leave. Wait. I still haven't asked you about the things I need to. Her name, it was... Arimura. My voice was loud enough that I made her jump a little. That scared me. You've got a lot of energy. Oh, sorry. No, it's fine. What is it? I'm sorry I was so loud. I mean, no, listen, my face was turning red from nervousness. Damn it, this was always what happened the first time I talked to someone. What should I ask?
All right, positive, negative, neutral. So if we do neutral, we don't imagine anything. But if we do positive or negative, then we imagine a situation, it seems like. In the hotel?
The hotel?
What were you doing in that hotel? All right, let's try positive. A moment? It felt like our body moved for just a moment.
Arimura?
I could see Kurisu frown in the corner of my eye. She was looking at me. Her expression hadn't changed, but for some reason, it felt like she was looking me over. All right.
And then she smiled.
Huh?
Do you want to know?
Well, just as I spoke, she leaned over and whispered in my ear.
Then why don't we go together next time?
Huh?
What? What did she say? It's a secret between me and Miyashiro.
Okay, well, I'm gonna guess that's not gonna happen. I considered that as a possibility, but quickly abandoned it. I couldn't imagine her doing something like that after what I'd seen at the hotel. Yeah, please go down a consensual route. Something much worse was going on there. An awkward silence ensued as we waited for her to answer.
So you were the Hekiho student who came into the room?
Her tone of voice was completely normal. There was no surprise or anger, just a flat, level tone. But somehow that struck me as much worse.
Can you say that aloud for me? Were you the one who went into that room?
What? That's right.
I see.
I couldn't tell if she cared or not. So what were you doing in that hotel?
I heard the door open on its own, and that's how you got in. Is that true?
Huh? The door? The door opened on its own? She knew about that? I nodded.
Can you say that aloud?
Huh? It's true. It opened from the inside.
I see.
And then she seemed to be looking me over again. What was going on here?
Arimura? Is there something... Anyway, goodbye.
Arimura ignored Kurisu's question and went to leave. Wait, what do you mean?
Oh, no need to be so polite. I'm younger than you, and... You're going to be killed, Takeru Miyashiro.
Great! Perfect! What I wanted to hear! Those were her last words before she left the room. She didn't seem at all surprised that I had questioned her, but I froze solid. Yeah, I wonder why. All right, club president. Where is the truth? A searcher of the real world. Who put this on Hachiko? LOL. Creepy as fuck. That's a sumo sticker, isn't it? It actually looks kind of cute. Congrats on 500 retweets. The heck is this thing? LOL. Who put this on Hachiko? LOL. Sumo woofer. Congratulations on 1,000 retweets. Give me a break. I love Hachiko, but I don't care about this creepy dog. What's up with this thing? Cute, huh? This is hilarious. Retweet. All right, and I think this is a good place to end for tonight. So we saw a lot that I don't know what to make of yet, but we will find out. Next stream, Tuesday, 10 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Pacific. Should be pretty normal. Yeah, you're going to die by my hand. I have a bulletproof vest. You can't stab me. So yeah, be back on Tuesday. And I think that's all I got. Have a good night, all. Thanks again for hanging out. And see you again soon. Good night. Bye.